Hello guys, I welcome you back to JN Graphic Tutorial. On this session we are going to learn how to design a restaurant flyer like this and this. So before then, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want you to subscribe to the channel for more amazing graphic design content. So let's begin with it. So first of all, we'll go to our Photoshop, then I'll go to my new, then I will just rename this as restaurant flyer. Then I'll make sure that the width is 2000, the height is 1100, then the resolution will be on 300. Then the color mode will be RGB color since it's going to be a social media flyer. Then I will just hit on my create. So after I've gotten my background, I just go to view, then I go to my new guide layout, so that I will know that everything that I'm doing is on, or it is in alignment. So this is why I apply my new guide layout. So first of all, let's go on and create our background. So I'll first of all go to my foreground color and choose a red color, something like this. So you can choose a color code of 91050D. Then I go on and press OK. Then I will create my solid background like this. So this is actually the solid background I wanted to create. Then I will go to the solid background again. Now I will choose a deep color, a deep red color, something like this. Then I hit on OK. I go to the panel again and create a gradient for the solid background. Then I will tilt the gradient to the other side of the flyer, something like this. Then I just hit on OK. Now it has left for us to start to import our resources. So I'll go to my file, place link, then I'll go to where my resources are. So the first thing I'm going to place is something like this. I make sure that it takes the entire background, something like this. Then I'll make sure that the overlay or the blending option is changed to something like overlay. So this is what we are going to use for the background. Then I'll go to file again and go to place link. Then I'll bring this resource, something like this. I'll make sure that it takes all over the entire background, something like this. Then I'll make sure that this one too is changed to linear bend. So this is what we are going to actually use for our design. So we are going to create a curve on this solid background. So first of all, I'll go and take my curvature pen tool. Then I will create some curves on the solid background. So this is what I want to create, something like this. Very nice and very beautiful. So this is what I actually want to create, something like this. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to give a solid color to the curvature. So I'll go on to my solid color, then I'll give a color like a very deep yellow color, something like this. I think something like this is very cool and very fantastic. So we are going to use this for the meantime for our solid color. So after we have done with this, we are going to create a stroke for this background. So I'll just select the curvature and go to the effects and go to the stroke. Then I'll give it some strokes. I'll give the curvature some strokes, something like this. I think something like this is very cool and very beautiful. So we will give it a stroke like this, then we will hit on OK. So this is what actually I wanted to create. So after I am done with this, I'm going to import another resource. So I'll go to my file, go to place link, then I'll bring this resource. Then I'll make sure that this will be on top of the curvature. something like this. It will be on top of the curvature. Then I will still select the resource or the imported file, then click on it. Then I'll create a clipping mask on the curvature, so it will be only on the curvature, something like this. Very amazing and very beautiful. So this is what actually I want to create. Very beautiful and very nice. So after I'm done with this, now we are going to change the blending option to something like, let's change it to something like linear bend is cool, overlay is cool, but I would like to use the linear bend. The linear bend is actually very cool and very beautiful, so we will use the linear bend for this moment. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to create 3 circles on the flyer. So I will just go to my shape tool and pick my circles. So I will create a circle like this, first circle like this, something like this. Then I will hold on Ctrl and J and duplicate it twice, so that we will get 3 circles, something like this. So I can still resize the circles so that all the circles will just go on the flyer. Something like this is very cool and very beautiful. Very cool and very beautiful. So this is what actually I want to create. I think this is very cool and very beautiful. So I can still arrange it to how I want it to be actually. I can still arrange it so that they will look so awesome on the flyer. I think something like this is cool. Something like this is very cool. So let's do something about the circle. So I will select the first circle, then I will go to the effect and give it some strokes. But this time I'll make sure that the strokes are white, something like this. Then let me reduce the size of the stroke to something like this. Then let me reduce the opacity so that we will get something like this. I think something like this is very cool. So we will do the same for this one. So I'll go to the effect and create the same stroke for this one. Something like this is cool. Then we'll create the same stroke for this one too. Something like this. Very cool and very beautiful. So now after we are done with this, we will still import another resource. So let's quickly go back and import our resources. So I will go to place link again, and now I will bring my first resource. I want to bring this thing, something like this. Then I'll make sure that this resource will be on the first one I created. The first one I created. So I'll make sure that it will be on top of it. Then I'll create a clipping mask for it so that it will stay only on it, something like this. Then I'll resize it until I see the edges of the bow, something like this. I think something like this is very cool and very nice. Until I see the edges of the bow. Very cool and very beautiful. So I can go in and place another resource. So this time I will bring my spaghetti here. I'll bring my spaghetti. Then I'll make sure that the spaghetti will be on the second one. So I'll just drag the spaghetti on the second one. Then I'll create a clipping mask for it, something like this. Then I'll resize this too until I see the edges of the bow, something like this. is very nice and cool. Then lastly, let us place our another resource. So I want to bring this bowl of meat, I'll resize it. Then this one too will just be on the last ellipse or the last circle that we make. So I will just create a graping mask for it, something like this. Then this one too, I'll resize it until I see the edges of the bowl, something like this. And something like this is very cool and very awesome until I see the edges of the bowl. So this is actually what we are going to use for the meantime. Okay, now we are going to start typing. So first of all, I will just pick my text tool and create a text box here. So I will type something like anti-AC. Then I will select it, go to my text panel. I'll make sure that the size of the anti-AC is 34. Then the text height will be 150. Then the spaces between it is 5. Then I'll make sure that the color will be something like yellow. So let's go and pick something like yellow, a yellow color, something like this is very cool. So we'll pick a yellow color like this. So I'll make sure that I'll stretch it so that it will just go there. Then I'll place it just here, something like this is cool and nice. So anti-AC. So I'll make sure that whatever I'm doing is in alignment so that our flyer will be looking so awesome and very, very attractive. So let's go on and type another thing. So this time I want to type something like special. I want to type something like special. Then I will select it. Then I'll go to my text box. I'll make sure text box. Then I'll make sure that I choose a font called Allura. So if you don't find it here, you can just type Allura. Then there you see the Allura. So this is what I want to create. So this is what I actually want to create, something like this. Then I will select it. I'll make sure that the size of the text is something about 31. Then the height of the text will be 90. Then I'll make sure that the space between it is 5. Then it is regular, something like this. Then I'll make sure that the color is now white. So we are going to choose white for this one. So I will just place the special on top of the anti-AC, something like this. Then now we are going to create another one. So now I'm going to type again. So we will type something like delicious food, something like this. Then I will select it. I'll go to my control panel. This time I'll make sure that the size is about 24. Then the space between it is 5. The text height should be 90. Then I will just place it just under the anti-AC, something like this is very, very cool and very nice. So I want to add some effects onto the anti-AC, so I can still select the anti-AC and add some strokes, white strokes to the anti-AC. I'll make sure that I'll reduce the size of the stroke. Then I'll make the opacity so deep, so something like this. So the stroke should be something about 7. The size should be 7. Then I just hit on OK. Then I will select the anti-AC again. Then I will give it a drop shadow, something like this. I will reduce the distance so that it will not be far from what I'm doing. Then I will just turn the opacity to about 72 or 76 thereabout, something like this is very cool. So this is the effect I actually wanted to add to the anti-aliasing. So now I want us to add some filters to what we have just created. So I will pick my text tool again and create a text box. So now I want to type something like all kinds of food available. So I can add something like continental and local dishes. I think something like this is cool. I will select it. I will go to the control panel, make sure that the size is 10. Then the height of the text will be 77. Then again the spaces will be 5. Then I will use a font called Myriad Pro. Then it should be a regular, something like this. Then I make sure that the color is white. So now I can do something like this. So I'll go to the alignment and make it center. Something like this is very cool and awesome. So I will just place it just under the delicious food, and I can go on and select it and make sure that I adjust this one to something like 9. Something like this is very cool. So this is what we are actually going to use for now. So now let's go on and import our next resource. So I will just go to my file and go to place link. Then I will bring something like this here. Then I'll make sure that I will resize it. Something like this. I will resize it to something like this. I think this one is very cool and awesome. Then on this, I want to add a text to it. So I will add a text like order now. Then I'll make sure that it is a very heavy font, something like this. Very heavy font. So let me reduce the spaces between it to something like -25 and change the color to a black color. Something like this is very cool. Then I will place it just on the order, just on the yellow box, something like this. I think this is very cool and awesome. So I want to add another text to it. So I will add the telephone number. So I can add the telephone number 054 78 or 87 1781 or 020645661, something like this. Then I will select it, make sure that it is a white color. Then I will just place it just beneath the order now, but I will make sure that it is quite larger, something like this, so that people will just see it clearly. So we can continue and add some certain things to it again. So I want us to go to the place link and add our social media handles to it, so that it will look so quite beautiful and attractive, something like this. So let me resize the social media handle and just place it just beneath the telephone number, something like this, just beneath the telephone number. So if you want to follow the restaurant, you can just follow the links just beneath the number, something like this. Then after we have done with this, we are going to add some sprinkles to it so that it will look some quite amazing and beautiful. So let's go to the place link and bring these files, something like this. So I will just resize it, something like this. Then I'll place it at the corner of the anti-AC. I'll just place it at the side of the corner of the anti-AC. Then I'll go to file again, place link, and bring this one too. So this one too will go to the other side of the anti-AC, something like this. It's cool and nice. So this is what I want to create. So after I'm done with this, I will go on and place some doodies to it. So something like this. I will resize it a little bit. Then you can tilt it like this, then place it on the anti-AC. Then I'll make sure that I reduce the opacity to something like 47 or 30 something. 47, I think 50 is also good, and you can also blend it with the background, something like this. So you can go on and place it to where you actually want to place it. So wherever you want to place it, very cool, it will be very cool and amazing. But I want to place it here, something like this is very cool for me. So after we are done with this, I'm going to create another curve on this flyer to make the final work done. So I will just go to my curvature pen tool. Then this time I want to create something like this here, something like this. Very awesome and very beautiful. Then I'll go to my solid color and give it a solid color, like a yellow solid color, something like this. So this is what actually I wanted to create. So now it has left for us to check whether everything that we did is in alignment, so that we will not get unbalanced work. So I will just check that everything is good. So I can increase this one a little bit so that it will look quite amazing. Then I think the anti-AC is in alignment and everything. I think everything is perfect and everything is good. So we can go on and say that our work is done for today. So let me place the order. Well, I think it is now cool. So now this is how our flyer is looking like. So this is the final work of our flyer. So you can go on and download the resources that I have placed under the link and do something similar like this, or anything quite similar like this. And if you have any problem, don't hesitate to DM me on my WhatsApp number, or you can comment under the video so that I may know the problem that you are facing. So this is the end of the flyer, and if you haven't subscribed, I would just like you to subscribe the channel for more amazing graphic design content. So thank you and see you again. Bye bye.